Welcome to Dash and Terminal for game number 2 of this best of 3 here at the Intel Extreme Masters Gamescom Qualifier. Spawning in the 3 o'clock position as the blue Terran player to extremely upbeat, funky music, looking forward to extending his lead and hopefully advancing to the winner's bracket quarter-final. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Happy. Happy's strategy in game number 1 was basically to go up to about 12,000 bases versus 2, and it seemed to work quite well against a red Protoss player over here representing Imaginary Gaming at the 12 o'clock position. However, he would argue that it's a trick, and it's a trick that you can only really use once. So what has he got up his sleeve to counteract in game number 2? Ladies and gentlemen, it's Welmu. Alrighty, so I think Happy played his trump card in game 1. I don't really think he can do that once again. It's also particularly interesting that he did that against Welmu as well, because Welmu is very, very famous. I'm sure a lot of you in chat would know. He's famous for being one of the most unpredictable Protoss players in the world. You play against Welmu, you've got no idea what you're doing. He's almost like the European version of Haas. You know, the Chinese Protoss that no one knows what it's going to be, but it is likely to be some crazy cheese that no one's seen before. Except Welmu doesn't just do cheeses, he's really good with his macro game too. So it just makes his repertoire all the more diverse, and it's really difficult to predict. So Happy, using one of these funky strategies against Welmu, may have taken him off guard a little bit, but it was only game number 1, and Welmu has a chance to make this right now. Gateway and Cybernetics Core going down inside the main base. Patiently waiting to get that expansion down, not rushing to do it straight away or anything like that. And this SCV, possibly going for another block. It is going to be for another engineering bay block, and actually a lot more hit points are going down on this engineering bay than in game number 1. So Happy continuing to try and throw Welmu off his game. For those of you who haven't seen this map before, by the way, Dash and Terminal, I like to think of it as Fat Scrap Station, because that is basically what it is. You're moving in a U-shape through the middle of the map, back up to your opponent's base, and conveniently you are close by air, although in this particular instance, you are conveniently surrounded by 2 gold bases. Does that look familiar to you? It certainly does to me. And you know what? I secretly really like Scrap Station, so, I'm not one of those, every map has to be equal kind of evangelist. No, bring back Jungle Space and see if I care. We need some Blistering Sands tournaments is exactly what we're looking for. So Mothership Core moving out across the map now, should be able to do a little bit of early game harassment. Has to be very wary of these Marines here, but 1 Marine will not be able to kill it off. Ooh, 3 might though! And this Mothership Core is venturing into danger territory. Oh, it's beyond danger territory now. If he kills 1 of them, is he going to be able to kill 2? The 3rd one coming forward. Now he has to be so careful killing off a Marine, but for almost all of the health on that Mothership Core. Well, I guess Welmu has decided that's going to be worth it. This engineering bay is slowly going to get whittled down. No workers have been killed in the making of this game thus far. The SCV was able to get away. Let's see if he managed to scout inside the base as well. He did, but he hasn't seen that a Twilight Council is going to be going down for Welmu. Now, this kind of architecture here, where you're able to blink up from the gold base, could be something that Welmu is looking to exploit on this particular map, as Happy goes on to get his orbital command at his natural expansion. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. The engineering bay does get cancelled, and we do have the Nexus promptly going down for our Protoss player. So is this a 2-base blink timing? Well, instant blink, instant chrono boost, that to me certainly signals something fishy coming out of Welmu here. Now he has to be aware, is Happy, that this kind of strategy is quite viable on this map. Very difficult to maneuver yourself around. Lots of funky pathways closed up by debris and stuff, but this is purely accessible basically by Reapers and Blink Stalkers, so he's going to be aware and trying his best to make sure that nothing like that happens. The Stalker's just doing a little bit of harassment, moving as far away from the orbital command as possible, by the way, which I like, because he is anticipating some sort of response. He's waiting for the units to move down. And well, the bunker's actually on the high ground at the moment, so I do wonder if this orbital command is going to start taking quite a lot of damage. I think Happy at the moment is not, like his namesake suggests, in a very particularly happy situation. Here come the Stalkers with Concussive Shell. He has to kill off the Marauder, or accept losing a Stalker and run away with the other 2. That's going to work as well. Second bunker going down now in a little bit more of a sensible location to ward off those Stalkers. And Welmu is going to be forced to go home for now. Blink nearly complete. We have more gateways coming down. Just the 2 more at the moment. We're waiting to see what else comes in. There we go. 3. Are we going to see another one pop down as well? We are indeed. So we're going up to 5 gateways. Blink is about to complete. More work is being produced for this natural expansion. Worker count currently 29 to 27 in favor of our Terran player. So with double mules, that's going to be pretty useful for Happy as well. His macro has just been spot on. But it has taken him a little while to get through all of this macro. You see this? That's the factory. It's taken an awful long time for that to actually go down in this game. And we're at the 8-minute mark now, so no fast medevacs in this game for our Terran player at all. Here are a couple of stalkers. Will kill off a scouting SV. That's actually going to signal to Happy he needs to fill this bunker and get ready. This orbital command is a little bit snipeable at the moment. A little bit snipeable. I'm going to have to be a little careful. And just taking a look at some of the requests in chat. I want to see Welmu or Lilbo. Well, I guess you can confuse the two. I'd like to see you Thermal, by the way. Another request to see Lilbo. I will see what I can do. And another request for no dubstep. I am pleased to announce that I personally believe dubstep was basically someone needing to recategorize a lot of bad electronic music, and they accidentally mashed a whole bunch of buttons and created a genre because people who are producing good electronic music refuse to acknowledge it as part of their own. And that's that bit of the rant over, as we have a very, very nice push. Will successfully kill off the bunker. We have some Blink Micro coming in from the Stalkers. SCV is coming in to help as well. Happy really wants to crush this at first instance, and I think he's going to be able to do that as well. The Blink Stalkers are going to have to move away. Bunker instantly getting remade. Do we have a reinforcement pylon? We do, and that's a lot of stalkers coming in from Welmu, continuing to put on an awful lot of pressure. Stimming forward now is the bio. The Blink Stalkers moving back on top of this ramp to basically force the bio to move back, but that has actually allowed him to pick off the reinforcing pylon here. I'm not sure that's the greatest of decisions, but it does mean that more and more units are getting picked down due to that stim. Where is the starport? The starport with the medevacs is coming out very, very soon. The first 2 medevacs are almost on the field, and once that comes down, Happy is going to be in a much, much better position to defend. Look how many of these units are on red health. I feel like Welmu needs to actually take this fight. Here come the medevacs, but the bio is starting to thin out now. The mothership core coming in as well. Ooh, and he needs to be careful with that. Aha! That Widow Mine, that mothership core, so close. He manages to get the bunker down, but only just. And here comes a reinforcement pylon. Is Happy going to be able to stabilize from here? 25 workers versus 34 pros because a number of them went down with that defense. Total number of workers killed now, 20. Quite a large number as Welmu continues to reinforce. Number of gateways available for our Protoss, still the 5. And more stalkers are being produced now. It looks like he's moving back just in case there's some sort of counter drop coming in. And no, he's actually going to be rounding up and moving into the main base from this point by the looks of things. Where is the mothership core? There it is. So that's going to be enabling the Protoss to blink in right now. Happy must surely realize that that kind of play is likely. And yep, sends a Marine there just in time to see everything going on. Oopsie daisy. Only blinking about half the Stalkers in though. That's not going to be great for him. He's going to have to blink these back very, very quickly indeed. Loses the Stalker. Will be able to avoid losing a second one. The mothership core getting away with her life as well. 22 workers killed so far. And we have a triple drop coming out from Happy. He is looking to do some serious damage in retaliation, using a lot of this blank space over here in the top part of the map to move his forces over. Well, we're now going to be in a tricky position because his Blink Stalkers are very, very far out of position right now, and I hope he's not warping everything in at this pylon because he's going to have nothing left to defend at home. He definitely needs to get into a more defensive posture. At least the mothership core is back. Photon overcharge is going to be required. Here comes the triple drop. Where are the Blink Stalkers? They're in the natural expansion. We're going to have to wait a little while. Photon overcharge has gone down, but it looks like all of these bio units are going to go down because the medevacs have been targeted, but the Nexus goes down for the Protoss as well, and that's pretty big right now. But I believe this more or less represents over half of Happy's army right now, and that means Welmu might have a window to go for a second attack. Where's the rest of the army? In these medevacs, in that bunker, sort of protecting the natural expansion. Is there scope to maybe come back up here and go for an instant blink counterattack? I don't know, but with this Nexus gone as well, it can be quite annoying. 26 workers killed versus 6. I wouldn't be surprised to see a third base come down, by the way, for Welmu. But he just wants to spend all of his money on units right now, and I can't really blame him for that. I don't think there's a big enough army. Very nice blink back from that Widow Mine. I don't think there's a big enough army right now for Welmu to win the game outright. I also don't think there's a big enough army, though, for Happy to push out and just win the game either. And Happy is becoming more mobile. We can see the more mobile player tends to have an advantage on this map. When we saw those Blink Stalkers moving out and about between the natural expansion and the main base, Welmu was doing fantastically well. Now that we have the non-stop drops coming in from Happy, and Welmu is constantly trying to make sure that his main base is secure, we see Happy now starting to get into the swing of things. The momentum is definitely going his way. As things currently stand, he's up to 93 versus 77 supply. Both players on 43 workers right now, and that definitely benefits the player with 2 orbital commands and mules. So Happy really swinging things around very, very drastically, thanks to basically thanks to that earlier triple drop. Widowmine doing a pretty good job. Blinkstalkers coming in, killing off the Medivacs as usual, and we now have the Colossus joining the fray to pick off the rest of these workers as well. I question whether or not the Photon Overcharge was absolutely necessary there, since they're... Okay, that's at least not another drop. A single Marine is going to be moving over there. But, I mean, the army was basically dead before the Photon Overcharge came down anyway, and it looks like that's going to be it. Welmu is going to tap out, and Happy is going to be able to take the series 2-0 over his Protoss opponent. He moves on to the round of 8, while Welmu drops to the lower bracket in the first series of the day.